session. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back, everyone. Last week we talked about uh, Windows Server 2022. We discussed the different editions, Standard Edition, Data Center Edition, right? And we also discussed that during installation, we will get two options, uh, whether to install a core server, which is a command line interface, or we can install a graphical user interface, right? So today we are going to perform lab, right? So let's discuss. Abira, can you open the, okay, give me control, Abira. Got it. Thank you. Uh, so basically, in today's lecture, we are going to cover installation of Windows Server 2022. That's our topic today, right? Uh, I think I don't need to explain why we are installing Windows Server. But if you want me to explain, let me give you a quick overview. Basically, in every organization, we have applications like databases, we have web servers, right? Websites, we have some files which we want to give access to the employees. So definitely we need some services, right? DHCP service to assign IP address to the end devices. We need uh, centralized management, like for example, you have 100 users. So how you are going to set some policies or restrictions? So obviously we have a solution from Microsoft, which is called Active Directory Domain Services. So for all those services, we need a Windows Server operating system, right? So Microsoft has different flavors. When I started learning this technology, I started from Server 2003. I don't know uh, uh, if you already have experience with Windows Server. So I'm not sure which version you have used. So can someone explain? I mean, can someone just uh, share his or her experience regarding the Windows Server operating system journey? Mr. Kong, which operating system, from which server operating system you have started?
Hello. Yes, I started using like 2008 in my for my study. So, but
Mhm.
no, actually, I start using 2019 in production, and then now I'm trying to migrate to the Windows Server 2022. Yeah, that's it. Yes, so now mainly I'm using for the Windows Server for the AD role and the ACP and DNS option. Yes, and then and other part, sometimes I'm using Windows-based FTP server. Yeah, that's it.
Got it. Got it.
So, but the first one is 2008. Yeah.
Okay, 2008. So before we
Yep.
start installation of the Windows Server operating system, last week we discussed that how we can download the ISO image. So I hope all of you have downloaded the ISO of server operating system. Once you download the ISO image, if you are planning to install it on the virtual machine, you can directly attach it to the virtual machine virtual drive, or if you are planning to install it directly on a physical machine like a server hardware. So we have different methods, like we can use a bootable USB, right? We can also use iDRAC or ILO to do the installation on the server operating on the server hardware directly. So as we can see here, last week we created this virtual machine, if you guys remember, right? We have assigned 2 GB RAM, 2 processor, 100 GB disk, there is no DVD attached. So let me attach a DVD. Abira, where you have keep the ISO image, can you just attach it?
Sir, please check it in downloads folder. Let me do that. Sir.
Okay, your voice is very slow. I think it is. Got it. Thank you. You should also select connected power on the top. Perfect. So as we can see here, we have finally attached the ISO image, and let's start the installation. So once you start the installation, this image will show you two options, standard or data center. So let me ask a question from, should I ask question? Nancy, can you tell us what is the difference between standard edition and data center edition? Do you have any idea? Who else can answer this? The difference between a standard edition and data center edition.
So, can I say something?
Yep, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think the difference between the server standard and data center edition. So, um, the standard edition, so let's say he can support like a few basic amount of virtualization, and so the data center, he got a high level of of the system environment. Like he can support more like virtualization. When I say virtualization, I talk about the VMware workstation.
No, no,
I
no,
can say that.
no, it's not related to VMware Workstation. Basically, if you are planning to install Data Center Edition can support unlimited virtualization,
Yes.
right? You can run as much as virtual machine you can on the top of the Hyper-V. We are not discussing the VMware Workstation here. So Hyper-V uh, is a Microsoft product, right?
Yes.
Okay. We will discuss it. We do have a topic of Hyper-V. We will discuss it in detail, inshallah. So can you click next, Abira?
Can I say as well? So the data center, he can support the cloud based environment. Can I say
Uh,
that?
no. Basically,
I
there
cannot
is
say that.
no difference between standard edition and data center edition, but the only difference is the unlimited virtualization, and there are some other few limitation in standard edition.
All right.
So both edition has the capability to connect with the cloud services. I mean, if you want to store backup in the cloud, the same option is available in standard and also in the data center edition. You got it?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Uh, I have a message. I think Mr. Kareem is not able to hear me. Please connect your audio. Okay, guys. Okay, so as we can see here, we are showing two options. One is repair your computer, and the other one is install now, right? So the difference between these two is, uh, thank you, Kong. Thank you, Mateen, for sharing your input. Sure. Okay. We do have a topic, repair your computer. We will discuss that option. For example, if you are administrator in your production environment, and if you forgot your password, administrator password. So how you are going to recover that password? So repair your computer will be the option we will be using once we are at that topic. Let's click install now. Once we click install now, we will be showing different options. Let's see. Okay. We are showing two editions, standard and data center, and in each edition we are showing two different options. One is desktop experience. Desktop experience means I want to install a full server with graphical user interface. And once you select the first option or the third option, you are installing core server, C-O-R-E, core server mean command line interface. So first we will be learning the graphical user interface. So for in that case, we can select data center desktop experience. Make sure in production environment, you don't need to select edition directly because you will definitely need a license then. So once you select data centers, then it means that you will have uh, um, to pay for that license. So for example, data center license is $6,000, so you will have to pay that much amount. So if your requirement can be fulfilled with the standard edition, so the best option is to go for standard, right? Yep. So we can click next now. Once you click next, you can accept the uh, license agreement and you can click next. We are showing two options. One is called upgrade and other is called custom. So we do have a topic on that. For example, you have server 2012 installed and you have Active Directory domain services installed on top of that. And since maybe you are familiar that 2012 uh, will be end of life in October in this year. So definitely you are going to upgrade your environment to server 2016 or 2019 or 2022. So upgrade option will be used in that scenario, right? So for now we are installing a new product. So we will select custom, and if you are planning to do partitioning, so I do have a topic. I already shared the YouTube playlist list with you guys so that you can watch it. I think you uh, already watched that. If not, so I will share it again, the link, and you can watch the topic that how you can do partitioning. And we can now start installing the operating system. You can click next. So I will pause for a while if you have any question. Do you have any question? Guys, my suggestion would be to do practice with us. Like, let's say we have done this lab today. So tomorrow you should have your own lab ready. You should have uh, lab ready and all the operating system installed and all the things. So this way we can learn together. We can finish this training together. And you can also share your feedback if you want me to change my methodology or you want me to add something. So I would be happy to uh, do that. Martin, I think, to be honest, I would say torrent is a platform. Maybe you can find a cracked version for practice purpose, but for production per environment, I would not suggest any cracked version. I am familiar with the VMware programs where they can provide free license keys if you uh, complete some of their requirements. So maybe that the same case is with the Microsoft as well. Let's see. Okay. Uh, Let me open the Paint. Basically, we started installing the operating system. So let's assume that we have a server hardware, right? This is our server hardware, right? And on top of the hardware, we install server 2022 data center edition. Right? GUI, graphical user interface. It's like a full server, right? This hardware is connected to switch. This is, let's say, uh, a Cisco switch. And right. Uh, Once we install the server operating system, the first thing we need to do, the basic configuration. What is the basic configuration? The basic configuration means we are going to assign an IP address. We are going to assign a proper host name, computer name. We are going to change the system time in date, right? We need to install updates. We need to configure Windows firewall, right? So, uh, okay, we have a message. Which type of error you got, Mr. Joseph? I hope I am pronouncing your name correctly.
Yeah, that's fine, Joseph. That's great.
Okay, so
I
which
got
error you got?
maybe for my network. So let me send to you if I can. Where is copy? Oh, I think this is. I think it's on my network, something like that. Yeah. Okay. So I can copy it. Maybe I can share my screen. You can see my error message.
So are you going to share your screen?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, in the meantime, I will. Awesome. That's good. Can you power off the virtual machine? Just power off the virtual machine.
Mm-hmm.
Power off. Perfect. If you can right click on the VM or go to edit settings, edit virtual machine settings.
Here.
Yep. Click on that. Go to options and click advanced. Advanced and select BIOS. On the right side, firmware type, select BIOS. Click OK. Edit again. Click edit virtual machine again. And select the DVD, CD or DVD. Click on that. Yep. Okay. Looks good. Yep.
So this is the server.
Okay. Got it. Yep. Click OK. Power on the VM.
All right, I got it now.
Yep.
All right, I get it. Oh,
Perfect.
okay. So because it was not on the on the BIOS, that's why I got this error message, right?
Exactly. Some hardware doesn't support because of the limitations. So then in that case, you can select the BIOS option.
Thank you so much.
No
Appreciate it.
problem. Okay, so let me check Mr. Ju, Kareem, Kong, Sophia, Nancy, Tahir. Can you just confirm if you have installed server operating system already or not? Have you even installed VMware Workstation? I just want to check your progress. Mateen, I cannot share the link of server 2012-2022 ISO. You have to download it yourself. Okay. Mr. Tahir confirmed. That's good. Kong, what about you? Have you built your lab?
Yes, yes, I
Okay.
already prepared my lab. Yeah.
Perfect. Sophia, how about you? I have not installed yet. I think I have to complain, right? We were downloaded and installed. Good. That's awesome. Sophia, I'm giving you a chance till tomorrow. Otherwise, who should I reach to complain? Okay, Nancy, how about
I'll
you?
do it tonight. I'll do it tonight.
Okay, got it. Got it. Joseph, I think you're already good. That's good. Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, let's see the progress. I believe the installation has already completed. If you can open VMware Workstation, Abira. Okay. Which error we are getting? Okay. Why we are showing this? The reason is we do not have that much space. There is not enough space. Okay. We can confirm. Hmm. Okay. Seems like uh, you should remove some of the on the right side, you can see guest operating system, Microsoft Windows, and then you have selected Windows 10. So click on the drop down menu
Yeah.
and select server 2022.
Server 2022.
Okay. Go back to hardware tab again on the left side.
Advanced.
No, hardware next to the options. Yep. On the top, hardware tab. If you can click,
Hardware.
yep. Click CD or DVD.
CD or DVD.
Use ISO image and attach the ISO image, and it should work. This message as it is. Let me explain it, guys. Okay, leave this message a bit open. Guys, if you face such issue, right? Can you start it again? Power on this virtual machine. Can you fix? I want to explain the error. If you are showing this error, it means that virtualization technology is not enabled from the BIOS. So you need to reboot your machine and you need to enable VT technology from your BIOS.
Okay.
So once you are done with the installation, right? The first thing we need to configure the server operating system, right? The machine. So keep in mind that we do have a dashboard called server manager. So most of the time, I mean, 90% we will be using this dashboard. Uh, the server manager is available in 2003, server 2003, server 2008, 2012, 16, 19, 20, 22, right? So Microsoft has changed the server manager dashboard after server 2012. So after server 2012, the dashboard is very attractive, right? This is a very attractive dashboard. You will see that. From this server manager, you can manage the server operating system. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. Uh, let me give you a task. What's new in server manager of Windows Server 2022? You have to search about that. Like what's new in server 2022 server manager, and you will get the answer. Microsoft has introduced an option in server manager 2012 that we can manage multiple server operating system from a single dashboard, right? Uh, if you have a big environment and you have like 10 servers, for example, 10 server is also not a big environment. So let's assume we have 10 server operating system, right? On install on different virtual machines or physical machine, and you are going to manage them. So the one option is to log into each machine individually and do the configuration on separately on each machine. Or what you can do, you can add all the machine to a single server manager and you can do the administration. We do have another tool available, and that tool is called Windows Admin Center. Windows Admin Center is a web-based management tool, right? So we can also use this tool to manage multiple server operating system. We can also use Windows PowerShell to manage server operating system, right? So we have many options available. It's up to you which option is easy or friendly for you, right? So if you can go back to the server uh, installation portion, you can see here the installation has completed. By default, the built-in administrator will be enabled. Whenever you are installing Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows 8.1, Windows 7, by default, the built-in administrator will be disabled and you need to enable it manually, right? But since this operating system is designed for administration, which is why the built-in administrator is enabled. And if you want to skip the password, it will not go further. So you have to set a password. So let's say I have set a password. I will be using the default password. So I just use this password, like a case sensitive password, like 3-case password, right? Okay. Now, if you can click next, can you full screen? Okay, click finish. Okay, there is a built-in security options available. Control Alt Delete. So you can right click. You can if you are using these combination, you can use Control Alt Insert in the VMware workstation. Nancy, I think you are talking about RAM, right? So if you have 8 GB RAM, that's fine. You should have at least 50 GB of free space available.
50, 50.
50 GB space just for the installation purpose.
Okay,
Or yeah, but if you have 8 GB RAM, that's fine.
okay, okay.
Yeah, that should work. Can you type the password, Abira? Okay. When you log in to server operating system, one more thing, maybe you guys are familiar with VMware tools. So VMware tools are basically drivers for the virtual machine. So if you can install the VMware tool first before everything, uh, click on the just install the VMware tool and show the students how you can install VMware tools. First, go to settings. Settings. Can you go to settings? Once you are done with the installation, make sure you remove the installation media. So go to CD or DVD and uncheck those buttons and click OK. Always remove the installation media once you are done with the installation. Now install VMware tools. Once you click install VMware tools, an ISO image will be automatically attached to the virtual machine drive. So you can go to File Explorer. Yep, you can see. Yep, go ahead. So we are now installing VMware tools. Okay. Uh, yep, I think the installation has done. Okay. So if you can full screen the virtual machine. Let me do that. Okay, guys. So once you are done with the installation, the installation. After the installation, the first thing you would see is Server Manager. It will be automatically open. Can you close this? Let me close it. So you can open it from here again, Server Manager. So this is the main dashboard you can see here. Right? So once you open this, right, you will get this message. Try managing servers with Windows Admin Center. What is Admin Center? We will discuss it. So let me close this message for now. This is the main dashboard, right? Once you open Server Manager in Server 2012, you will not see this option. The fifth option will not be available. Microsoft recently introduced this option. Connect this server to cloud service. This is also a very good option. And let me explain the benefit of this option. For example, uh, you have on-prem deployment. You have invested so much amount and build your on-prem solution. And you need a solution and you need a tool which is only available in the cloud. So one option is to move your workload to the cloud. So, and you have recently invested on your on-prem solution. So what do you think? Is it a good practice? It is not a good practice. So Microsoft gave you this option, like what you can do, you can uh, connect your on-prem server to the cloud, and you will only have to pay for the services which you are using. So your operating system is still running on-prem, but you have added some of the cloud services. And let me give you the example. You have a mobile phone and you have some application installed on your apps, and those are the cloud services like Netflix, for example, right? So Netflix is also one of the cloud solution. Software as a service, right? So you can use that services and you only pay for that service when you are using that service, right? So on the left side, when you click local server, you can see the different options. We can also change the computer name by right clicking the PC. You can also uh, install updates from the control panel. You can change the IP address from Open Network and Sharing Center. You can also enable or disable or configured firewall from the same option, Open Sharing Network and Sharing Center. But using Server Manager will make it easy for you. Like from a single pane of glass, you can do all the configuration at one place, right? So the first thing we need to do, let's change the system time. You have to change the system time. So we are basically Pakistan based. So I will select Pakistan time. In your case, you can select uh, your time, right? I think for Sophia and Joseph, they don't need to change their time.
Yeah, mine is okay.
Yeah, yours is
Mhm.
fine. Nancy has
Yeah,
to
it's-
change her time. Okay, so I just changed the time. I just changed the time, but still we are showing the US and Canada Pacific time. The reason is we need to click the refresh button. So once you click the refresh button, it will automatically change the time. When you go to manage, right? And when you go to server manager properties, you can also check here that after 10 minutes, automatically this dashboard will be refreshed. So you can also change the system, the refresh period, right? If you do not want server manager to be automatically opened, you can check this button, right? What is this option? Internet Explorer Enhanced Security Configuration. By default, this option is on. So if you are doing internet browsing in your server operating system, it will not open the website directly. First, you need to add the website in the trusted website. So if you want to disable that security, you can disable it from here. Same is the case here. By default, the server operating system has a built-in antivirus or defender available. You can also do the configuration based on your policy. You can also, we need to install updates, right? Obviously. So I'm not going to install it now, but Abira can do it offline for tomorrow, before tomorrow's session. Uh, Computer name. Keep your computer name a user-friendly name. For example, you are going to install web services on that machine. So you can change the computer name like web server 1, web server 2, file server based on your to make it easy for you. So I just click this button. You can click change and you can change the computer name. So for example, server 01. Okay, oops, I think some right. You need to restart the machine. We can restart it later, no worries. Okay. Work group. We have two options, work group or domain. We will discuss it. Microsoft Defender Firewall. By default, it is on. You can configure Windows Firewall. How you can configure Windows Firewall? We will do this topic. If you are not, do you know how to configure Windows Firewall? Anyone? Anyone? Do you have any idea how to configure Windows Firewall?
Yeah, I mean,
I only,
Yes, sir.
okay, you are familiar as well. That's good. Nancy, Sophia, are you guys familiar how you can configure Windows Firewall? Mr. Mateen?
Uh,
Yep.
vaguely, I did it quite a while back. I might have to remind myself. It's been a while.
No worries. We will add this topic and we will discuss that sometime. Okay, I just power off the Windows Firewall, right? And you can see Windows Firewall is now off. Okay. Okay. Did I just power off the Windows Firewall? Yep. We are showing two options, remote management and remote desktop. Remote desktop. Remote desktop means remotely logging into the machine. Remote management. So what is remote management? For example, you have a server operating system and you have a service installed, right? DNS service is running. So if DNS service is running on this server, you need a management tool to manage the DNS service. That is called DNS manager. So we have two options available. If your server operating system is graphical user interface, you can install DNS manager tool on this machine and you can open that tool and you can manage this service. We do have other options available. For example, I have Windows 10 here, right? And what I can do on this Windows 10 tool operating system, we can install a tool called Remote Server Administration tool. We can use this tool, right? Remote Server Administration tool, and we can install DNS Manager here, and we can manage this service here. For example, I have another Windows 10 machine here, right? And I have two services running here. Web service. There are two people in my organization, in my team. This person responsibility is to manage the DNS service. And this person responsibility is to manage the web service. So if you go for remote desktop option, only one person can log into the machine, right? So he will have full access to the machine. By remote desktop connection, this person or this person will get full access based on which user he has or she login. But with the remote management, you can give access to specific people for a specific service. For example, this person will use RSAT tool and to manage web service. And this person will use RSAT tool to manage the DNS service. This person will not have access to the web services. So this is also one of the benefit of the remote management. I hope you got this point. You can see here, by default, remote management option is enabled, remote desktop option is disabled. Does it make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Can you go back once, Kashif, please?
Yep. Do you want me to open the tab, the paint tab?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please do a quick summary of what you just said there about DNS service and the web service.
Okay. So
Just a quick summary, please.
basically, I only discussed the difference between two options. Remote desktop connection and the other option is remote management. So I was trying to explain the difference between remote desktop connection and remote management. So remote desktop connection means I'm here. For example, I'm here and I want to access this whole machine. I want to access the desktop of this whole machine. So I will log into this machine remotely and I will have full access to the machine. But with the remote management, let's say you have DNS service running and web service running on this server. So on the client side, we use our RSAT tool also here. This person will only manage this service and this person will only manage DNS service. Does it make sense, Nancy?
It does, yeah. Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, now we have an option called NIC teaming, NIC teaming. By default, this option is disabled. What is NIC teaming? Maybe you guys are familiar with Ether channel. Ether channel. Do you know Ether channel?
Nope.
Okay. Joseph, you should know Ether channel.
Yeah, I know Ether channel. Ether channel is as a link aggregation. It's a port channel too. You can call it like that. So it's something like they use a network technology to combine multiple physical internet link and into single logical link. Do you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Thank you. Thank you. You got the point.
I mean, if they're trying to do something, it's very quick. Let's say very like just one sentence. So you grab all the logical link. So to convert to link to the one single I'm sorry, physical link to one single logical link. And that's
Yep,
it.
that's
You
good.
have a more byte in the port.
Okay, thank you. So let's say you have two important services running on this machine, and you have like 100 users using those services, and all the request or rely on only one single 1 Gbps link. This is my network adapter here, this one. So 1 Gbps for 100 users, is it a good option? Nope, it's not a good option. Maybe you will face some network performance issue. That's fine. Performance, let's say, doesn't matter for you. That's fine. But what if this link goes down? Then do you have any other option? For example, the link is down for 5 minutes. So for 5 minutes, your services are not working. So definitely your business will affect, right? So this is not a good practice, and you are not a good administrator. You are not a good administrator if you are relying on a single point of failure. So make sure always avoid a single point of failure if you are working in production environment. So what we can do is, per Microsoft recommendation, we can attach another link like this. So let's say we have another network adapter number 2. So now we have two network adapters connected. Okay. How about if you are have a lab on the VMware workstation, you can simply right click and go to settings, and you can add network adapter even if the virtual machine is running. That's also the beauty of virtualization. And make sure, keep in mind that if one network adapter option is bridge, the other adapter option must be bridge. So both network adapter must be connected to the same switch. So I just added another network adapter to my virtual machine. Just like here. If you have a physical machine, definitely you need a network adapter. But if you are working in the virtual machines, you can add up to 10 virtual network adapters, and you can build your labs, right? So that's also no issue for you guys. I mean, if you are doing practice on your virtual machines, you can add up to 10 virtual network adapters. Let me give you another task for tomorrow. You have to search NEC teaming requirements. Must search the difference between NEC teaming requirements. You have to search for that. Tell me tomorrow in the class. And also, you need to give me an answer that how many maximum physical network adapter we can combine, and we can create a team of network interface controller. You got the two questions? I give you three tasks. One option is what's new in Server Manager of Windows Server 2022. You have to give me the answer of that. The second question is the teaming requirements in Server 2022. The other option is how many physical adapters, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, how many physical adapter we can bundle. we can combine together. You need to give me the answer of these 3 questions tomorrow. You got it?
Can you start over, please?
Yep.
The first
Question
one.
number 1 is this one. What's new in Server Manager of Windows Server 2022?
Okay.
The second option question is NEC teaming requirements. Like, what are the basic things we need to do if you are doing NEC teaming, if you are combining physical network adapters? And the last question is how many physical adapters we can combine together to create a team. These are the 3 questions you need to give me answer tomorrow. Okay, perfect. So what is NEC teaming? With, let's say you have 2 physical adapters, adapter 1 and adapter 2. So obviously you are going to assign 2 different IP addresses, and you need to separate or you need to split the workload manually. So if you have 2 network adapter, like you can see here, we have 2 physical adapters here, adapter 1 and adapter 2. So instead of assigning individual IP address, multiple IP addresses, what you can do, you can combine these 2 physical adapter, right? And you can create a team. So you can select both like this. You can right click, you can click add to a new team. You can give it a name, my team. Make sure both network adapter speeds are same. And you can click OK. But if you have done CCNA, okay, or if you have experience of networking, right, you can expand this option and you can see different options here. Yes, Mr. Joseph, you have a question, please ask me question.
Yes, I have a question. So if I want to keep my both, I don't want to create a team, but I decide to keep my first network adapter as an IPv4, and the second one I want to keep it as IPv6. It's gonna make sense. I mix IPv4 and IPv6 because I knew, but they don't have the same byte. What do you think about that?
Basically, when you create a team, it's like you have a single adapter, and maybe you are familiar that we can assign both IPv4 and IP version 6 together. So if you are, if your question is like adapter 1 has IPv4, adapter 2 has IPv6, that should also work, but that doesn't make any sense.
Okay. So so now I can keep my IPv4 if I said, okay, my IPv4 for the devices like the computer, the workstation, and then I keep my IPv6 for the voice over IP, like the
You
phone.
can do that. I mean, you can assign, let me show you. I will show you. I will give you the answer. Just give me 1 minute, please.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. So if you have networking knowledge, you can also play with these options. Like you can define a VLAN ID. You can select LACP, link aggregation control protocol, right? You can use static teaming, right? And you can also change the load balancing mode, Hyper-V, address hash, whatever you have, and you can click OK like this. So now I can see here, I'm showing a single network adapter instead of 2. So how many network adapter we have? Adapter 1, adapter 2, and this is the team. So if we have to assign IP address, we are not going to assign here. We are going to assign IP address here. So I will right click here and I will go to properties, and Joseph, You can see IPv4 is also available
Yeah.
and IPv6 is also available. So you can assign both IP addresses.
Okay.
If you don't
Okay.
want IPv6, you can disable this option and you can only assign IP version 6. So as we can
Okay.
see here, our IP address range is 192.168.1. So what I will do, I will assign IP address in the same range. Let me disable IPv6 if I'm not using that. You can keep it enabled, that's fine. There should be no issue. Let's say 254 is my IP address. What is DNS? We do have a topic next week. We are going to cover DNS. So we will discuss it. And you can see here, my machine IP address is let me ping. So I'm able to access my machine. Okay, if I right click on the team, I can see 2 Gbps speed because 1 Gbps plus 1 Gbps is equal to 2 Gbps. So the benefit of NIC teaming to double the speed to provide fault tolerance. What is fault tolerance? Let's say one of the adapter is down, but still I can see the ping packets do not drop. We are still able to communicate, but the speed will be obviously 1 Gbps. And if both the adapters are down, then I cannot help you with that, right? And let's restart the machine. So let me give you the summary of what we have discussed today. We started from Windows Server 2022 installation. We discussed the basic configuration and we discussed how we can change the computer name. We discussed the difference between remote management and remote desktop connection. We also discussed NIC teaming, right? We also discussed a little bit about remote server administration tool, but we have not covered that topic yet. So inshallah, we will discuss that as well. We do have topic on Windows PowerShell and Admin Center. So we will discuss it in our upcoming session. So that was today's lecture. Tomorrow, we will discuss how we can add roles or features with different methods, right? See you inshallah tomorrow.